Something about week 0. It's like the appetizer at a big dinner. You got small portions, but the flavor tells you exactly what's coming next. And what we got this past weekend was pure chaos, a little bit of confirmation, some overreaction, and just enough storylines to make you think that this season is about to be unhinged. And listen, that's why we're here. My whole mission with what I'm trying to do here is simple, quick, to the point, college football videos, no fluff, no dragging some things out, just what you need to know so you can keep it moving with the rest of your day. So with that, here are 5 things we actually learned in week 0. My first one, the Big 12 is going to be sheer chaos this year. We start in Dublin, Iowa State 24, Kansas State 21. It's your very first game of the college football season, and this has now become a bit of a tradition. Week 0 abroad in Aviva Stadium, they had Notre Dame, they had Florida State. Next year, they got North Carolina, TCU. And this year we got Farmageddon on the international soil. The setting felt just as chaotic as the game was. Rain was pouring down, the field lines were fading like someone painted them with some sort of chalk dust, and then the broadcast had all sorts of early season hiccups. I don't know if you saw that. I definitely had it on my end of things. And at times it looked more like a preseason scrimmage than an actual Big 12 opener that has conference implications on the line. And the first half was an absolute mess. 4 turnovers before halftime, a muffed punt that ended up knocking Dylan Edwards out of the game. Could have been the difference in the game. Missed chances in the red zone. Neither offense actually looked comfortable, and you could see some of the rust of week 0 combined with travel across the Atlantic Ocean. But by the second half, things started to get real. Short yardage moments decided this game. Iowa State leaned on Rocco Beck's poise, Carson Hansen's legs. Hansen had nearly 60 rushing yards in the fourth quarter alone, and then the gutsy call, a 4th and 3, game on the line. Campbell dials up a swing pass that picks up 15 and essentially ends it. That's coaching with conviction. Now, Kansas State had their chances. They hit a 65-yarder late. They actually outgained Iowa State overall. But truly, a 1 for 4 on 4th downs is going to get you beat in games like this. And Chris Kleiman is already catching heat for some of those decisions. So what did we actually learn? Iowa State's won 5 of the last 6 in this series. Matt Campbell seems to have K-State's number. But most importantly, this is the Big 12 we're walking into this year. And there's not really a team in this league, not a Kansas, a K-State, a Utah, an Arizona State. Truly nobody is safe in this conference. Iowa State currently 1-0, the leader in the clubhouse. I don't know if that's going to last, though. First Big 12 game of 2025 was played in the rain in Ireland and ended on a knife's edge. That is exactly how the conference is going to play out throughout the entire year. My second takeaway is Kansas might be a dark horse in that conference, specifically if Jalon Daniels can stay healthy. Kansas made a statement in week 0, and not the kind that I'm personally used to. Normally, when you talk about Kansas football under Lance Leipold, you're talking about offense that has creative play designs, tempo, and a quarterback who can light up the box score. But Saturday against Fresno State was really defense stealing the show. They won 31-7, and that scoreline doesn't even really capture how dominant it was if you watch the game. The Jayhawks were suffocating. They held the Bulldogs to under 300 yards of total offense, forced 3 turnovers, and really turned Fresno's offense very one-dimensional. Now, Jalon Daniels was sharp, 13 of 15, but he didn't really have to do too much. That's actually kind of the point. Kansas didn't need Daniels to play hero ball. They ran the ball pretty effectively, got some timely 3rd down stops on defense, and they never really let the game hang in the balance at all. And that's the profile of a complete football team this year, specifically in a conference that's wide open. But the caveat for this group is always going to be health. Daniels has obviously been banged up in nearly every season he's been the starter, and we've seen the difference when he is not on that field. Kansas can be one of the most fun teams in the country with him and painfully ordinary without him. So the reality is Kansas looks like a dark horse Big 12 contender, and I can say that confidently. They've got a veteran offensive line, they've built depth at running back, and now they've shown that they can actually win with some defense. This is a winning formula in this league, but it's written in pencil, not in pen, because all of it is going to hinge on number 6 staying upright. And if Jalon Daniels is playing football in November, Kansas actually has a path to Arlington. And if he's not, well, we've seen this movie before. Our third takeaway has to go to the islands. Micah Alejado has the goods. Out on the islands, Hawaii opened its season with some drama, a 23-20 win over Stanford on a walk-off field goal. And while the scoreline was tight, the real story was quarterback Micah Alejado threw for 210 yards and 2 scores. But more than that, he did it on one good leg, and the legend has been written at this point. He picked up a left leg injury pretty early on, visibly hobbled, but he never really lost control of the offense, it looked like. And you don't fake that kind of toughness. You don't fake the way that a team rallies when they see their quarterback clearly hurting yet still delivering strikes downfield. And here's the thing. He delivered when it mattered most. Big completions late in the game to move the ball in the field goal range, poise in the pocket, even with pressure, and the kind of leadership that really makes you believe Hawaii's ceiling might be higher than anyone thought a month ago. No, they are not winning the conference, I don't think, but in a Mountain West that seems a little shaky, they could be that kind of team that you don't really want to deal with on a random Saturday night. He's got the goods, and I'm definitely going to be tuning in to some late Hawaiian magic this year. Fourth takeaway, it's going to be a long rebuild for Andrew Luck and company. On the other side of that field in Hawaii, it was rough. Stanford is a long way from those days of the Andrew Luck, Christian McCaffrey teams. It's really a program that's lost 9 of 10. The problems seem to be everywhere. It's a thin roster. Andrew Luck is kind of stepping into pretty much nothing as the GM. So there's no clear identity on either side of the ball. And even against Hawaii, a team that is still in the middle of its own rebuild in a lot of ways, Stanford looked like they were just really trying to hang on. There's not really a quick fix. They don't have the size up front that they used to. They don't have the elite quarterback play that they could lean on. The run game's And right now, every game really feels like a climb. I wouldn't be shocked looking at the schedule if they honestly went 0 for or even just won one game this year. This is a full-scale rebuild, and for a fan base that remembers Smash Mouth Stanford football, this has to be jarring because this is not Andrew Luck's Stanford anymore. And my fifth takeaway, I could say with quite a bit of confidence that I think the Mountain West title game is going to end up being Boise State versus San Jose State this year. Everyone penciled in to start the year Boise State and UNLV being the 1-2 in the Mountain West title game. But after what I saw yesterday, I don't think that's happening. Dan Mullen's UNLV debut was supposed to be a statement, and instead, Idaho State nearly stole that spotlight. UNLV squeaks out a 38-31 win, but it wasn't pretty, not even close. They had 4 trips inside the 20 that turned into nothing but field goals. The defense let an FCS team rack up humongous chunk plays throughout, and only some late interceptions actually kept the Rebels from an actual heart attack. Jaden Thomas looked good, did the part with 3 touchdowns, but the performance screamed first game jitters from really the rest of the group. So does this mean Mullen's tenure is doomed? I don't think so, not yet. First games are obviously going to be messy, particularly a week 0 when you know that everybody's actually watching, and this Rebels still have talent. But the thing is, you hire Dan Mullen to outthink teams, to put the pedal down, and against Idaho State, that pedal barely moved. The Mountain West is wide open outside of Boise, I think, but if this is the UNLV that we saw Saturday, you've got to wonder if they're ready to play near the top of the conference and actually take a swing at Boise. I'm pretty ready to plant my flag on them not making the Mountain West title game already. So those are the 5 things that we actually learned in week 0. The Big 12 is going to be complete chaos. Kansas has a path in that conference, but it's all about Jalon Daniels' health. Micah Alejado looks like the next star quarterback out west that you have to tune in. Stanford has a long way to go, and the FCS gave us a reminder, you just can't overlook them. Someone's going to get upset this week. Week 0 isn't about crowning champions yet, and maybe there are some overreactions on my part for some of it, but truly it's about setting the table. And after what I just saw, the 2025 season looks like it's going to be serving chaos on every level. If you like the style of content, short, sharp college football breakdowns that get you in, get you out, get you all the info that you need, and get you on with your day, go ahead and hit subscribe, drop a comment with your biggest takeaway from week 0, and I'll see you back here for week 1.